Welcome to Easter Sunday on another self-isolating video. This time we're a lot closer to Heading Road, so I'm afraid you may be able to hear the sounds of traffic on the road much more clearly than other days. We're starting here at a strange site. This is where an English elm used to be in the 1970s and sometime in the 80s. This was replaced with suckers after the tree had died. So these elm stumps are what happened later. Unfortunately, when they get to a certain height or girth, the beetles can get in again. So I'm afraid these English elms have died. In the background against the jail side, in the middle there, you can see a wych elm, which I'm afraid succumbed to the disease within the last 5 years. I was hoping it wouldn't be attacked by the beetles, but it's gone. And here we have another victim, this time of high winds. This is a whitebeam that went over in the winter, and I'm just going to focus on the leaves. So the reason that they're called whitebeam is they're very white underneath. At the moment the leaves are only just emerging, but they could become very dark green above, so you get quite a contrast when the wind blows. The difference between 1 minute the tree is dark green, then there's a gust of wind and all the leaves go inside out, and it seems to change colour from dark green to almost white. We have a young lime tree here, and the next tree along is an ash, and even there you can see the strange flowers emerging, coming across. One of the most beautiful trees in the cemetery. It's our largest hornbeam. Focusing on the leaves and the catkins. And the catkins turn into seeds, and it's these seeds that the hawfinch prefers in the autumn and winter months. Having a look at the bark of the hornbeam, it's not quite as smooth as a beech tree, but it's got that silver grey colour that beech trees have. And we're just moving around because there's another tree of interest a bit further along. The next tree, that's another ash tree and a sycamore, and behind that a Lombardy poplar, which I don't know if you can see, goes up really high, and all the branches end up pointing upwards. Another ash tree here. Then another sycamore. These do vary quite a bit, so this is another one that's got really the bark has peeled off in chunks. Let's try and stop so you can see that there. And as you can see, the sycamore isn't out yet, so it's a bit later than some of the other species. Now here's an interesting species coming up. This is the one where spotted flycatchers used to nest in this species before they died out. So it's a really gnarly. This is a false acacia, and I'll show the leaves later on another video when the leaves come out. And as we go up the tree, hiding behind that branch there, you can see a gap. That's a hole, and that's where a stock dove flew out the other day, so there may be stock doves nesting in there. Come around here because the light's probably better because the sun's behind. Go up the tree and look, that must be a dead limb because there is several woodpecker holes, 2 on that side, and I don't know if you can see there's one on the left as well. Coming across here, this tall greenish tree is a hawthorn. So hawthorns aren't just a hedgerow plant. When they're allowed to grow freely, they do get quite high. This one's not looking too healthy. Half of it has died and there's fungi on it. But that is a hawthorn. Can't really call it a bush. It is a tree, really. A young horse chestnut tree. And then we've a really beautiful lime tree here, very graceful tree. This one hasn't got the bushy growth in the centre of the tree that we saw last week. I'm just going to come nearer and show you some of its leaves emerging, fresh lime green. So they've only just emerged in the last few days. They haven't been attacked by insects yet and eaten. They will darken a little bit too. Going past the Lombardy poplar, another sycamore. This one's just starting to green up. Another Lombardy poplar. Pigeons leaving it. Lots of pigeons leaving the an ash tree. No, sorry, another lime tree. This is an ash, that one I'm going past at the moment. But it's the next tree that we're interested in here. This is quite green. Go a little bit higher up so you can see how much has come out. And 2 weeks ago, this one had a really beautiful scent. This is, I believe, a Western Balsam Poplar. And unusually, you can see how you can see presumably a root, and then the root is sprouting, and I can actually smell the beautiful scent from here. So what happens is that when the leaves open, they're covered with a light gum, and they let off this intoxicating scent. And Alan Bennett in his diaries, I think it is, mentions smelling it when he was with Alec Guinness, and he thought it was the waiter's cologne, but it's from the trees. So that's a balsam poplar. Okay, thanks for listening.